okay, so the salesman was very like gung-ho about, oh, just get the Rex. It doesn't really affect anything. And I said it affects the way the car rides, it affects the way it handles, but it also affects its acceleration, right? Because it's about 300 pounds of difference. So the i3, 7.2 seconds it takes to get to 60, right? When you add the range extender, it adds 0.8 of a second, which brings it to 8 seconds, which is about 10% difference-ish, right? When you spend the extra money to get the faster version of the i3, you're gaining 0.4 of a second, right? So you pay $3,000 more to get 0.4. To get that range extender, you're paying even more money than that, but it's actually, instead of going faster, it's going slower. It depends on your priorities, obviously, right? But my only point is, it's not like there's a free lunch, right? Like there is always going to be a compromise. And then if you want a car that's...
To me, these are not huge.
But the way it drives, when you take a turn and stuff, that's why I think we should have you drive, not necessarily the one they have, but like maybe a different dealer or something like that. Because when you take the car through a corner, if the weight in the back is feeling like it taxes the tires more, the way you make like quick last-second turns, that's why I was thinking the i3s is actually a cool option for you. I obviously adore this car, but I would hate to see you start at 51 instead of 44. So I always am like, okay, let's see if we can make this car work in your life. Okay, if we can, then okay, we'll go to this one and see if we can
So this one has 120.
Best case scenario. Air conditioning is not running hard.
But
you're just cruising down the road.
You saw home with AC.
You don't really use it? Okay. Alright, so you might get your 120, but it's 120 depending. Like, if you don't touch the brake, and your headlights aren't on because you're using it for daytime, that sort of stuff, like you're probably going to get your 120. If you're not driving efficiently, like you're stomping on the gas all the time and then using the brake, you might get 70, right? Depends on how you're driving. If you're driving at 75 miles an hour, you might only get 70 or 75 miles of range, right? Because it's a lot less efficient to punch through the air.
If I drive 70 miles an hour, then what?
Then the range goes down because it's having to push the car through the air at high speed. If you drive like 60 miles an hour or 50 miles or 40, you know, it's like less aerodynamic drag there is, the farther it's going to go. So what I like about it is if you're like, you know what, today I don't really need the range, I'm not worried about that, I'm just going to mash the gas to the floor every time and drive it however I want to, I'll charge it when I get to the grocery store. If you're like, okay, I need to get from here to Calabasas, or I need to get here to there, then you're like, I'm going to use eco mode, and I'm going to go a little more gently because I don't want to stress about it later, right? But the big question for me in buying this car, like I refuse to get the range extender personally because I think it changes the character of the car. Also, when it is activated, the thing he's not telling you, because he said it only ran a couple times in his ownership when it was doing maintenance cycles, it doesn't sound like a car engine. It sounds like someone on a scooter is behind you in traffic.
When what?
When this thing starts running, the generator, it sounds like, it's more like a... And you hate noise and vibration. It sounds a bit like a jackhammer. Okay, like
so I'm not gonna. And that's the range extender.
That's the range extender, right? So that's why, I recommend this car. It has the range extender for people's confidence in buying the car. But when it actually comes on, it's not a very pleasant experience. And even though he's saying, oh, it doesn't really affect, you can drive 50, you can drive 60, you can drive 70, why would it be different? As far as I've seen, so there's another option you can do, which is coding. In Europe, you're allowed to turn on the gas engine whenever you want, instead of using the battery. So what you could do is be like, look,
I love that.
Right now, I'm in a noisy environment anyway. There's all this construction and stuff going on, and I'm driving down the road at 30 with the windows down. Like, I don't care about noise. I'm fine with noise. I'm on the phone or the radio's on. I'll just go ahead and run the gasoline part to move me down the road and keep the battery topped up. And then when you actually get to a part where you're like, okay, I want to roll the windows up, I want it to be quiet, the day's getting to me, the battery now is fully charged, whereas it would have been 20%. Right. So what I like to do with these cars, if you are going to get the range extender, which I don't necessarily recommend without being damn sure you're going to need it, if you do get the range extender, I think it's a good idea to look into the coding option, because then you have the flexibility of, do I use gasoline right now or do I use electricity right now? And the only difference is, that's something that the European models have and the US models don't. So it's like when you unlock your phone.
I love that.
Right. So people who have the old model with the smaller battery and the range extender, they code theirs all the time. Because that car, even though it's a 2.5 gallon tank, you're only allowed to use 1 gallon of it, or 1.2 gallons of it.